Wow, that was the Flying Scotsman. Welcome to Partickhill Station. Welcome back to Partickhill Station. So today I'm working on this apartment flat building, the low profile one, which came with, I think it was a model rail. So it's been in a box, like a lot of stuff around here for some time, and I decided to start putting it together. So, you know, like everything else, you really should read the instructions a couple of times. And in this particular case, they're not 100% clear, but they're pretty good. So you just have to get your head around what they're trying to say, and then find the appropriate parts and put it together. So we'll have a go at this and get back to you later with progress that is being made. And a couple of safety tips before we get too far into this. Always use a steel rule and a sharp knife, and when you cut, you know, don't force it, just apply a little bit of pressure to it and draw it through. And these are sort of 2mm heavier card, and you know, 4 cuts with the Stanley knife will get you through there no problem, so don't force it. So you've got to make sure you don't put too much glue on these, and that you've cut them straight. It's supposed to be a little gap between each panel. And then a space for the columns here. So I've now cut out the windows for the apartment or the flats, and I've got strips of see-through plastic, whatever you want to call it, and I'll glue them on the back side. I've also got the front wall at the bottom level and the columns already in place, so that's done. And I'll just keep moving on from there. So I'm using Yoo-hoo. We'll see how that works. Anyway, they said to put a bit around where the windows will go. I'll put them on just like that at the moment to check, make sure I've got enough pieces cut here, and I'll start laying them in. I don't think I cut enough, but we'll see. Yeah, I'll need to cut some more. So now I've got the windows in, I'm just going to put a weight on top of it. Pop rock, fake book, and we'll leave that on there for a while. Now I have this base wall with the columns in place and they're clamped on here. So the next piece to go on is the beam across here, which is step 7, 8 and 9, and then build up the brick and the horizontal beams all the way to the top. So step 7 and 8 includes putting the first floor of the balcony in. So there you go, it's in now, and that's the beginning, and then it will be a repeat all the way to the top. As you can see, I'm now installing the walls, and it's important to check the height so that when you add in the next floor, you've got it even. So that's just a simple check to make sure that it lines up with that bottom blue line there. Well, the build is coming along. However, it went through quite a bit of warpage with the glue. Now I used Uhu, which might have been a mistake. I didn't expect it to warp as much as it did as I built it, but you know, from a distance at this point it looks okay. And now I have to put this end wall in here where the elevator is and the balcony walls, and put on curtains and blinds, and that's it. Then I'll get it onto the layout. As I watch Alan at Buckland Junction do some modelling, I'm trying to finish off the flats here before my wife comes back. A couple of things to do. I have to put the cap piece on there. I have to put in the blinds and windows, blinds and curtains, and Station Road, I think, and that will do it. It's coming together pretty nicely, and I'll weather it with pastel powders. Now the flats are structurally complete. All I have to do is add in the blinds and curtains. There were some challenges with the balconies, getting them properly aligned, and with this rooftop area, really wasn't sure if the way I cut it out was the way it was supposed to be put together. But anyway, from 2 feet or 3 feet, it looks terrific. So I'll finish off by adding in the blinds and curtains, and then what I'll do is I will apply some pastel powders and then seal it, and then find a spot for it on my layout. Now I would certainly recommend this build to everybody who has a layout, and it's a little bit challenging if you've never done one of these before, but my suggestion is that you read the instructions a couple of times just to get the idea of how it's all going to be put together, and then be careful with how you line it up and clamp it during the process of gluing, because it does warp. And I did use a combination of cereal box cardboard and the 2mm thick cardboard. But yeah, like, great build, no question, and well done Model Scenery and Model Rail for offering this as a free inclusion in the magazine. You could search around and find an old copy and then start your build. So once I go through the process of weathering it, we'll get it onto the layout. Now that I've done the window treatments, I'm going to make an attempt at weathering. So I'm using pastels, and I'm going to scrape off using the utility knife. And there's a couple of ways to do this. You can try it putting it on directly, or you can add talcum powder. So I'm going to try it this way first. I'm just going to pick up some with a brush and try and add some on here, just to take the shine off it. And as you can see, hopefully, that it's having an immediate effect to give it that more realistic, used, sooty finish. And the glue that's on there unfortunately shines through a bit, but that'll be taken care of later when I do a matte finish. But in the meantime, this seems to be working okay. So I've applied one coat of the pastel powders, and I've just covered the windows as suggested before I fix it with the matte finish. And this does a couple of things. It fixes everything, but it will enable me to add another layer of brown to the model, and it will come out a little bit darker. So I should do this outside, but I'm only going to give it a quick blast. Well, unfortunately this can doesn't work. Well, unfortunately this time I cannot get this unplugged. So I'll just add some more of the pastel powder. And by the time, you know, I'll work on getting that can unplugged, and we'll give it a final seal, and I'm sure it'll look great once I get it on to the layout. I'll just stand it up here so that you can get a better view of it. So I think it looks pretty cool. And once I spray it, it will dull down a little bit. Yeah, you can see that some of the balconies aren't perfectly horizontal, but as I said, from 2 feet or 3 feet really doesn't make that much of a difference. Okay, so what I had to do was switch out this nozzle here, because the other one was blocked, and in spite of my efforts I had to take one from another can. Anyway, so the whole idea is to give it a matte finish, seal the weathering, and then I can apply some more. And I've covered the windows with tape, so I'm just giving it a light coating here. And take it back downstairs, and when it dries I'll apply more weathering. So the first spray of the matte finish is dried, and this will enable me to add in some additional weathering. And this would have been caused by soot for the most part, coming from industries and railways. Okay, so I'm outside in the garage for safety and giving it a spray. It's bubbling a little bit there, but that will dry off. Now, I think that's the process and the model finished. I'll remove the tape over the windows and then we'll get it onto the layout. This is just a temporary location that I've placed the flats in. But, you know, it looks pretty good from there. So we'll think about this and decide whether to leave it in this position or find another location for it. So we're done with this project. Remember to give me the big thumbs up and hit that like button, and we'll see you next time for the next project here at Partickhill Station. Bye for now.